Hi again. Welcome to Pearl Magazine. Tonight, nature at your doorstep, the ocean a few steps away, and all the benefits of rural life. Where can you find it? It's closer than you think. First up, Hong Kong has 9 times more stay-at-home moms than stay-at-home dads. But fatherhood at home can create different needs, struggles, and concerns. Stella Chin reports on how these determined dads are defying gender stereotypes.
Okay. Hey, yo, are you ready? Let's go.
This father and his daughter are heading to a special place on this Wednesday afternoon.
Hello, Hao Zhang.
Their destination? A primary school in Canton to pick up a very important person.
My name is Brian Cook. I'm a stay-at-home father. This is Emma. She's 5 years old. She goes to kindergarten, K3. This is Adam. He's 7 years old, and he goes to this school right here.
Yeah.
Okay.
Brian drops off and picks up his children from school every day.
I want to spend more time with my kids, and we have a very, very close bond. I enjoy picking them up. It's not a chore for me, and every day when I see them, they're really happy. I'm really happy. Okay.
When they get back to their rural home in Sai Kung, the family grabs their bikes to get some fresh air and exercise.
It's something that they look forward to at the end of the day to relax, just get their mind away from studying books. And there's no break here. You know why?
Brian grew up in Hong Kong. He's a professional mountain biker and makes a living by teaching kids how to bike on the weekends. And on weekdays, he's a main caretaker for the children and their home. In a more conventional job, Brian's wife tutors children as a freelancer on weekdays.
Basically, we both work, but my wife just works more than me. So in the other times when she's working, I take care of the children. It just sort of ended up being me picking up the kids from school and doing more activities with them.
He says being the stay-at-home parent isn't easy.
For children, it's healthy, proper meals that you must prepare. It can't be just, oh, okay, you're hungry, let's go to McDonald's or something. Yeah, it doesn't work like that. So you got to have like yogurt and fruit. I think the main challenges are really learning new things, learning how to cook, learning how to wash clothes, just doing housework, taking care of children. Okay, are you finished with that one?
Yes.
Nice. So draw some snowflakes.
Brian says the time with his children is precious.
I devote a lot of time to my children because at a blink of an eye, they've grown older, they're going to secondary school, or they're spending more time with their friends.
These kids love having their dads stay at home with them. Research shows Hong Kong households of stay-at-home dads have doubled in 20 years. It's thanks to women's role in the workforce.
Isabella Ng is a specialist in gender studies in Asia. She says changing demographics are contributing to an increase in stay-at-home fathers.
We have more women going into the workforce, then there will be the need for an alternative way of parenting. If the mother is earning more than the father, then obviously they would choose to have the one who is earning more to work, whereas the one earning less to stay at home.
Over in Shoshan Hill, this father and his 2 sons are practicing football on this Monday afternoon. Steve, a New Zealander, used to work in finance. He and his wife decided he would be the main caretaker of the children when his first son was born more than 16 years ago.
I wasn't working at the time Vanessa got pregnant, and it suited us for Vanessa to stay with her full-time job, and I would carry on looking after my oldest son when he came along. And then we moved to Hong Kong. After about 2 years, he came along. We decided that for the continuity of the boys, it would be better if I stayed at home.
Steve spends his days cooking and taking care of the family.
Both my boys are into all sorts of things after school, so they need taking to and fro, feeding before and after typically. My wife works in a highly competitive industry. She's enormously busy, does very long hours, so often needs handling with delicate gloves because it's a very stressful environment for her.
His wife is a COO at a global investment bank and breadwinner of the family. She regularly works 12-hour days.
In many ways, I am dependent on Steve. In fact, you know, I rely on him a lot to look after the kids and to keep the household running. If he wasn't here to do that, I think things would be much more difficult for me in terms of my job and my career.
Not everyone is accepting of their non-traditional household. Several years ago, the couple went to open a new bank account in Hong Kong and had to provide their occupations.
The guys who we dealt with there found it very hard to believe that I was a stay-at-home dad, to the extent that they said, "Do you not want to tell us what you do? You look like a pilot. Don't you want to tell us what you want to do? Is it a secret?"
For Chinese society especially, or Asian societies, they're still expecting men to be the sole breadwinner or the major breadwinner in the family. They're not directly but indirectly telling the people that gender stereotypes are still in place, and then a man have to take up the role of being the responsible person financially in the family.
Steve grew up in a very stereotypical family. His father was the breadwinner, and his mother fed and clothed 10 children.
And I often think, you know, my own father would be turning over in his grave if he knew what I was up to, but well, not up to. You know, you never know what life's going to throw at you, and this works well for us. But I was going to say, rounded up to 60 by 4.
His children love having Dad at home.
It's just really nice for him to do everything for me, pick me up from school, make breakfast for me.
I have someone to see every morning because my mum's usually not here when I wake up, but just a nice way of life kind of thing. I get to connect with him and I go to dinners with him.
In mid-levels, this 9-year-old just got home from school. His father, Marty, makes him a snack and catches up on his day.
I come home from school and then I see him before my activities. It's just really nice because we can talk.
Grayson is the son of same-sex couple Marty and his partner Patrick. The family's stay-at-home responsibilities rest with Marty, and these include taking their son to after-school activities.
Taking him to coding class and theater class and tennis, but pretty much that's the big part. The other part is kind of the household duties, like if he's off sick, then I'm the one with him, taking him to the doctor or appointment.
Marty's family moved to Hong Kong in 2015 for his partner's job. His husband works at a law firm, and Marty quit his job at an NGO to relocate.
Moving from New York to here, that was a huge transition, and me not working allowed me to make sure that both my husband and my son felt secure and happy and comfortable here.
Can I have an eraser? Maybe.
When they moved, Marty and his family knew only one person in Hong Kong. So Marty made connections in the community, such as volunteering at his son's school and joining a dragon boat team. He developed a network of friends who support his family.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Large straight.
And I'm trading back.
At his son's school, the stay-at-home moms were curious to see Marty day in, day out.
I always get the question, what does my wife do? And then I have to correct them that I have a husband and he's a lawyer. You know, it starts with that, but then it becomes very clear to them that it's just the same arrangement that they have.
If people know that they're actually gay and the kind of family structures they would expect, one of the partners would have to take care of the household, right? So people would accept it naturally, more naturally than someone who is a heterosexual couple.
Marty's also working on a PhD degree in social work at a Hong Kong university. He researches gender roles in Asian families.
Whenever we look at families, there's roles. There's a mom role, a dad role. Men perform in a certain way, females perform in another way. A stay-at-home dad who's not out earning for the family, that takes some understanding and getting used to. And so sometimes questions come up like stores and, you know, in the middle of the day, oh, you're off today. And there's just this assumption that a man works during the day, which makes no sense because there's lots of shift workers, there's lots of people who work different hours all the time.
Why is it that the mummy must stay at home and the daddy goes to work, you know? Yeah, we read storybooks and all that when we were younger, but I think nowadays in society, there are a lot of jobs that actually women do really well, better than men even, you know? So why not daddy stay at home, you know, and spend time with the children?
While the men hope society would become more accepting of stay-at-home fatherhood, they find the role to be immensely satisfying.
Seeing my boys score a goal, or the big smile on their face after they score a goal, seeing your effort, you know, appreciated, and may just be the smile on their dial at the end of the day, and enjoying my company. That's huge.
After the break, how to live in a big city by living on an island. Stay with us. Welcome back. Hong Kong's big city image gets most of the press, but our fine city has much more to offer than being a financial and shipping hub. Hong Kong's unique geography puts nature at our doorstep, and just a ferry ride away, rural living offers cheaper rents, countryside proximity, and a quiet living. Let's meet some locals who've discovered the benefits of island life in the big city.
There are over 250 outlying islands in Hong Kong. Many, such as Chung Chau, Lama Island, and Lantau, are well known and popular among visitors, both local and foreign. A ferry trip to Peng Chau to the west takes about half an hour by ferry from Central. In the 1970s and 80s, this island was actually an industrial center occupied with hundreds of factories. But none of them are there anymore. This place used to be a leather factory. In 2010, the Antiques and Monuments Office listed it as a declared monument. In 2011, local artist Sherry Lau converted it into an art garden.
Most of the place had deteriorated. There was no water supplies, no electricity. I started from scratch to achieve my dream. Everyone has a secret garden in their heart, and this is my secret garden.
Sherry grew up on Peng Chau. She worked at an electronics factory on the island for a while before moving to the city. Recently, she decided to retire and return.
I'm already 60 years old. I enjoy doing these things every day. Every day is joyful. I don't feel bored.
According to government statistics, there were around 150,000 people living on outlying islands in 2016. The median age of islanders was 40, making these islands the youngest areas in the SAR, even as the wider population ages. Peng Chau has more than 6,400 residents. About 1,700, or 26%, are above 60. Like others, Tony enjoys the tranquility of island life. He moved to Peng Chau 20 years ago. Turning from a city dweller to an island resident, there are many adjustments to make.
We only have the ferry to Central. Once you're here, you have to adjust your life according to the ferry schedule. After 9 p.m., there aren't many eateries open, which is unacceptable for many Hong Kong people.
Transport isn't Tony's biggest worry. Healthcare is. He says because there's only one clinic on Peng Chau and there's no doctor in the evening, Tony once had to take the ferry to the city to get medical treatment.
It's more troublesome for acute patients. They may need to take the air ambulance. I worry about myself sometimes. What if something happens to me one day? But if you are healthy, elderly people can enjoy living here.
Yim Tin Zai is a 20-minute ferry ride from Sai Kung. It used to be one of Hong Kong's 5 big salt pans. Most residents here used to work in the salt industry, but now almost all of them are gone. Mr. and Mrs. Liu are the only 2 long-term residents still living here.
When we first arrived, the roads here were not paved. You couldn't walk. Grasses were so high and we had to mow them down to get here. The wall and the staircases were all broken. Couldn't reach the second floor. Our place used to be like this.
On weekends, Yim Tin Zai can be reached by a small motorized ferry service. But there's none on weekdays. As a result, there's virtually no one here most of the time, except for a few animals.
The starfruit season is when we see many wild boars. We say hi to them all the time.
Ten years before, Mr. and Mrs. Liu came to Yim Tin Zai to do volunteer work. But they fell in love with the tiny island at first sight. Mr. Liu was longing for this kind of life. He tried operating a restaurant on Llama Island before, but it didn't work out. He also considered retiring to Taiwan, but in the end, Yim Tin Zai won his heart.
The most attractive thing is here I get to do what I love the most, farming and going out on the sea. I love how it rarely has any visitors, even on weekends. I moved here for the quietness, to enjoy living, not to make a living.
In order to build a house to live their dream life, the couple spent over a year renovating this once broken down house. Their decision met with opposition from friends and also surprised the landlord.
I asked my landlord to come and discuss renovation. He didn't even want to set foot inside because of its poor condition. Half of the garret was heavily damaged. Paint was peeling off the wall. The floor was dusty. Bats and insects were everywhere.
Because of the remote location, it was hard to find people to do the renovation, so Mr. Liu had no choice but to do everything himself.
We rented this place for 10 years. It cost over $300,000 to buy renovation materials. Had I hired someone to do the work, it could easily cost over $1 million. I'm a chef. My strength is not renovation, but luckily I had friends who were willing to teach me how.
To live on the island, the first problem that needed solving was transportation. Mrs. Liu was a nurse working at a local hospital. Every day, Mr. Liu would drive her to work by boat.
From this pier, it only takes 5 minutes to reach Sai Kung, where she takes a minibus to work.
Because of the lack of income after retirement, living on a remote island actually saves the couple a lot of money. They even started running a home restaurant a few years ago. Homegrown vegetables are perfect for their restaurant.
In summer, we have long green beans, eggplant, water spinach, and so on.
Compared to life in the city, Mrs. Liu feels that her life now is more interesting.
Hello. 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 你叫咩名啊？六寶。六寶。我日日都忙得好緊要㗎喎。
Every day I'm busy taking care of my pets. I have 3 dogs, 2 cats, and 2 parrots. I also need to water my plants, flowers, and the garden, and help with the restaurant business.
Mr. and Mrs. Liu both agree that not everyone can accept their lifestyle. The most important thing is to find one's own way of living. Island life also offers greater value for housing.
Some local people visit here notice that the properties here are much cheaper than in the city. 1 million Hong Kong dollars is enough to buy a 350 square feet house in Peng Chau. Better environment and more freedom.
Ferries to some popular outlying islands run frequently. For instance, the ferry from Central to Cheung Chau runs every 10 to 15 minutes during peak periods. The Chief Executive's 2019 policy address proposed extending special measures to expand the current 6 outlying island ferry routes to 14, increasing the annual expenditure for subsidizing these routes from $140 million to $260 million. Will that attract more people into island life? 2 years before, Alun and his girlfriend moved from Causeway Bay to Cheung Chau. He still works in Central, and every day he needs to get up 1 hour earlier than before moving here to catch the ferry.
I had not realized that many people on Cheung Chau are working in Central. Many are actually connecting with buses to work.
A bigger living space is one of the reasons that made Alun move.
In Causeway Bay, I spent $4,500 on monthly rent on a room of less than 100 square feet. And when you open the window, there's no view. But for $5,000 to $6,000 here, you can get a normal apartment, about 350 square feet, with a perfect sea view. The only downside is when a typhoon strikes, the wind and waves can be really terrifying.
Alun's life in Cheung Chau now is very different from the past.
On the weekends, all you can do in Causeway Bay was shopping, dining and catching a movie. I got tired. I guess 9 out of 10 people won't bother moving to an island. But I think I'm now living the dream life. It doesn't have to be very colorful, but sometimes less is more.
Next time on Pearl Magazine. Decades ago, they arrived in Hong Kong with nothing after being forced to flee Vietnam. Now, some of the children of those refugees are returning. But the Vietnam these children are discovering is very different from the one their parents left. That's our show for this week. Bye for now.